Hello, I'm Dr. Eva Chang, and welcome to graduate school. The purpose of this video is very specifically for students who are enrolling in our Masters of Public Policy program starting in the fall of 2025. These videos are advising videos, so they are very specific to what program you're in and when you are starting. So this video is for Masters of Public Policy students starting in the fall of 2025. And what we're going to do in this video is go over some advising notes so you really understand and can predict what's going to happen in the next few weeks and you feel prepared. Now, if for any reason you don't get your questions answered in this video, you can always email me. You can always use my Calendly link to set up a one-on-one appointment, and I'm happy to do that. All right, so a few notes as we get started. I'm sharing my screen and you can see your advising form, which you should have a copy of, or it's linked in the notes below. The advising form, there are some things we know and there's some things we're predicting. And so I'll be really clear about what those are. For example, this is the order of your courses, and I have your professors and I have the times they're teaching, but the fall of 2026 is a year from now. And so, for example, Dr. Pryor might decide to switch her day from Tuesday to Monday. That rarely happens, but I will keep you updated as much as possible. I know many of you are planners and need to know when classes are going to be, and so we'll keep you updated as we go. All right, let's start at the top and go down. So a few key dates to note. So write these down, put these in your calendar, put them where you won't forget. But registration starts the week of June 12th. So I'm going to tell you a lot of information in this video, but there are really one focus area you need to have in your life right now, and that is to get registered for classes, because nothing can start until you're registered for classes. And this is not a program where you register the day before, you show up to class and you're ready to learn. You have assignments due the week before class, and you need at least a week to get them all done. In addition to that, in order to become a student at a university, there are back-end processes that take time. So I'll give you an example. Once you pay your deposit, it takes 5 to 7 business days to run through all the systems it takes to make you an official student at SMU. Then, when that happens, you will go into my.smu.edu and you will go to register for classes. But immediately, you will notice you won't be able to register. That is because you will have holds on your accounts. All new students have holds. You have to go in and clear those holds. There are very clear instructions on how to do that. However, if you get hung up, please reach out sooner rather than later, and I can help you navigate the process. I'm not always the person who owns the process, but I know who to contact. I know when to just wait because it's going to take a few days versus no, we need to follow up on that. So please feel free to reach out if you get stuck. So your number one goal right now is to make sure your deposit is paid, clear your holds in my.smu.edu, so that you are ready to register the week of June 12th. If you are joining us after the week of June 12th, it's totally okay, but that just means you need even more focus on getting all these steps done, because August 14th is a big week, and that month between June 12th and August 14th goes by really, really fast. So you just need to get these steps done as soon as possible. That's why I'm spending so much time and energy talking about that. Okay, so the next key date, let's keep going, is orientation Thursday, August 14th, 7:30 p.m. to 8:45 Central. This is on Zoom. This is required. Cameras on. You'll be engaging. We'll go over some policy things. You'll get to know your classmates. You'll get to play around with Zoom so you feel comfortable going into your first class. There's also an asynchronous orientation, and that's on campus. But here's the thing. You cannot access that asynchronous orientation until you're registered. That asynchronous orientation is required. And so it's another thing you just want to check off your list. That's why getting registered for classes is so important. Also, that same week of orientation, Canvas will open for your 2 classes. There's no exact day that week, but sometime that week, your instructors aim to get the classes open. That's important because there will be assignments on the first day of class in all your classes. So again, can't just show up on day 1, which is the week of August 25th this year, and be ready to go. You have prep work to do. So just keep that in mind. All right, classes do open the week of August 25th. You will have a class with Dr. Molly Ellis on August 25th. And then you will have a class on, what is that, the 27th, Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Central on Zoom. You'll have that class with me. Then the last key date I want to talk about is your first immersion, which is on campus required. Students love it. You're going to have a great time. So it sounds mean and scary that I require it, but actually you'll see returning students will come back and join us in the immersion because they love it so much. So I think you'll have a good experience. That is October 17th through 18th. You will get an agenda for that pretty quickly, at least by your first week of class. And it is a full 2 days, right? So we even do dinner together on the 17th. You'll be done by about 5 on that Saturday, the 18th, but otherwise it is a full day. Okay, so let's get into your classes. So you have some choices here. Number 1 is you can take 1 class, you can take 2 classes, but your first semester, you cannot take more than that. I have learned that you are set up for better success if you take 1 or 2 classes. That helps you ease into grad school. It's challenging, but manageable. I've talked to a lot of students. We've done focus groups. We've surveyed students. 1 or 2 classes that first semester is the right amount for your first semester of grad school. Most students do take 2 classes. I would say 90% plus of students take 2 classes. Some students know that they either need or want more time and they're not in a rush to graduate, so they take 1 class. That's okay. You also can start with 2 classes, go down to 1 class if you have a busy season, like, our accountants of the world may just want to take 1 class in the spring semester of school. It's totally fine. You can go up and down. You cannot take more than two classes your first semester. In future semesters, you may be able to, but that will be after a very intentional meeting with the 2 of us, and we'll talk about all the things you have going on in life, and then we will decide together whether that's appropriate or not. So if you are somebody who sees the ability to take an extra course down the road, 3 courses or 9 hours is full-time as a grad student, we can talk about that. Your first 2 classes are Foundations of Public Policy and Research Methods. If you're only taking 1 class, it's the Foundations with me. It's good to have me as your instructor the first time because I'm your advisor too. So you learn a lot about the program, you learn a lot about electives once you're in my class. In addition to the class content, it keeps you really connected to the program. And you'll have me as a professor a few times throughout your experience. A couple of other things to think about, but these are down the road things. These are not things we need to worry about now. So if you have questions about this, I'm happy to meet about them. But remember, your focus is to get registered for class, get into your Canvas courses, and get prepared for that first week. But the things to think about are this. Number 1, you have 4 electives, and I kind of have some plugged in here for you, but over time we add more electives. So for example, right now your electives are international trade, urban development, sustainability and public policy, and ed policy, okay? So those are pretty typical electives. Now you can take up to 2 electives in our sister program, the Masters of Public Administration, and there are some other programs that we have loose partnerships with who also welcome our students for electives. The final choice you have is some of you may have some graduate credit from another program. Maybe you have another graduate degree. You can transfer in up to 2 courses or 6 hours of grad credit. Now, I'll tell you, it's not an easy process. You first have to meet with me. We make sure that the courses are aligned to our curriculum. Then you have to go find the transcripts for those courses and fill out a bunch of paperwork. And then I have to justify to SMU that this should be allowed because it aligns with our curriculum. So that's why we meet first, because I don't want you going and doing a bunch of work before we decide whether actually there is justification for it or not, okay? But you have until your last semester of school to get that done. So again, if you want to do that, fine, but first get registered, then get your first assignments due, and then we can meet once things get rolling, and I can walk you through that process. I'm happy to do that. Okay, let me think of some other things I want to mention. There are 2 required in-person experiences. I already mentioned one, which is with Foundations. You'll come to campus October 17th and 18th. Your second is your capstones. So a couple of things to know here. Your capstone, most of these courses are 3-hour courses. Your capstone is actually a 3-hour course divided in half. So you have a 1.5-hour course currently slated for the spring of 2027, and then the very next semester in the summer, you'll take the second half of that course. It's really just one skinny long course. So that at the end in capstone B, apologies for the typo here if you noticed that, in capstone B, you will come back to campus because you will have worked on this project that's accumulating all of your knowledge in the program, and you will have a really nice output to take into the world. So if you're looking for a job or you just want a portfolio, then that is there for you. So, but you come onto campus, you do a presentation of the work that you've done in this capstone course and get some feedback. And we, of course, do a big celebration. So that's the second required experience. Okay. Most of your classes, all your classes will be Monday through Thursday in the evening on Zoom. So let's talk about that. Every class, except this capstone, is a 3-hour course. And what that means is you need 3 hours of class content by your professor. On top of that, graduate schools accredited like we are have to give at least 1 to 3 hours of homework for every credit hour. Okay, so let's do that math. You already are going to have 3 hours of class time. And then on top of that, you could have 3 to 9 hours. Is that right? 3, 6, 9. 3 to 9 hours. So up to 12 hours a week per class. If you're taking 2 classes, that's 24 hours. Now, I have surveyed our students very recently, just a few weeks ago, and I said, realistically, how much time are you taking in classes? And the average actually is about 12 hours each week for 2 classes, except during busy times, like the end of the semester when you have 2 major projects due, and then it is closer to 24 hours. So I'm saying that so that I want you to take your calendars out, and I want you to block off work. I want you to block off family commitments. I want you to block off your hobbies or working out or whatever. And then I want you to go find 12 to 24 hours that you could fit this coursework in. And that may help you to decide whether you're going to take 1 course or 2 courses, okay? The better you are at time management and you're really efficient, writing comes easily to you, maybe you're on the low end. If this is really kind of new to you, it's totally fine. We're going to help you through it. There's a lot of resources. You may want to plan for more. And I'm happy to have individual conversations about that and kind of talk you through those things. So let's talk about, I said 12 hours altogether, but 3 of that are class time. Here's how we do that. We take those 3 hours, we divide them in half. 90 minutes is on campus. You can do it whenever you want. Saturday at 2 a.m., Monday at 10 a.m., whenever you want. It includes things like lecture videos. It may be prepping for a case study we'll do in class. It may be a discussion board. So those 90 minutes are class time activities, but they're done whenever you want. Then there are 90 minutes we meet in person, and this is required, cameras on, you are engaging because you've already had your lectures. You've already had your sit and get where you can, be in your jammies and have your camera off. But this is where you're talking, you're engaging with classmates, you're going through exercises. We do a lot of cold calling, so you do need to be prepared for these classes. So those will be Monday through Thursday for 90 minutes per class, except your capstones, because remember they're short and skinny classes, so they're a little bit shorter time. Okay, you already know a lot of these. So this is what we predict. We know in the fall, you will have a Monday class. So August 25th, Monday, 6:30, you will log in. You will go to Canvas, find your Zoom link and log in. Wednesday, August 27th, you will have class if you're taking those 2 classes. Okay, so that is known. The spring, I'm pretty sure this is what's going to happen. The summer, I think this is what's going to happen. So as soon as I know, I try to update you guys because I know you're planners and you want to know when these classes are happening. This is a pretty good estimate. I would be shocked if this changes much, but you never know. So for example, in the fall of 2026, that's over a year from now, Dr. Pryor may decide she needs a different day or time or something like that. Okay. I think we've made it through everything that we need to talk about in advising. But again, if I didn't answer your question, my contact information is in the notes below. Please use my Calendly link, email. Even if my Calendly link isn't available, I do keep some non-traditional hours. So feel free to connect with me if you need a different time than what's available. And I just want to welcome you. I know the logistics are a lot. I've been talking for a long time here, but do pause. Remember why you signed up for this program and think about that. The journey of this program is very important. The people you meet, the toolkit you're going to build throughout each class, and the products you're going to have to show for your work. So focus on that, even while you're doing your number one goal, which is getting registered for classes and getting prepared for that first day. All right. Nice to meet you all today. Reach out if you need additional help or have questions.